So in the relevant social experience, they want to be connected, they prefer small groups, and they gravitate to third places and cafes. And I'm going to add one that's not on there that I don't know why it isn't. I think I've got an outdated slide, but the whole concept of racial integration is a huge, huge problem for millennials. We did a Korean church over in Maryland about 2 years ago, and at the 1 year time where we go in and do a basic punch list and what warranty items need to be fixed and all these kind of things, and I said to the pastor, and this is a Korean church of a couple thousand people, so it's a large church, and I said to the pastor, I said, what things do you have, what kind of problems are you having? And I'm thinking about air conditioning, lighting, carpeting, stains or those kinds of things. And he says, our youth won't come to our church. And I'm like, well, I don't think that one's in my category. And I said, why won't your youth come to your church? And he says, because we're all Koreans. And that's a big problem today. And it's a big problem in every single race because if you go back, I said 40-some% of that group is minority, but they are a minority that is colorblind. And they are extremely colorblind, which is, thank God. That's a great, great thing that we see happening. And so we see that they're very attracted to racially diverse churches, and they're moving out of their parents' churches. That's just literally what's happened again. Another way that you're going to go gray and not have that come back into where you're at. So here's some of the things that are happening. Coffee shops they're not open to the public. These are just used when church is going on and when things are happening. Most churches, and I think almost all of them that do this, that we've surveyed of our churches, still give away coffee. They decaf and regular, just what they've always done. There's a place that people can go get that. What these tend to have on them is the stuff that the people are bringing into church with them when they get there on Sunday. The frappes and the lattes and all of those other things that are happening. And what they're literally saying is instead of buying that down there, why don't we just go ahead and buy it from the church? Give it to the youth or wherever it's going to go. We've found that they are fairly strong revenue producers. If you take the number of people that are going to your church on a monthly basis, and that's not cumulative, it's just the average monthly attendance, and multiply it times 5, that's the kind of net profit income you would have off of having one of these in your lobby. So if you have 500 people going to your church on a regular basis, that's $2,500. That church in Casper has one of these, and they let the youth operate it. The youth have always operated it, and they use it for youth things. They're averaging over $14,000 a month because they have a very large church, and they use it very heavily. Now they've decided that maybe it wasn't supposed to all go to youth, that only a small part of that would happen. These are just a variety of different third spaces, hangout areas. Again, you see a lot of color, a lot of things that really enhance these, just make them wanted areas. People, if you're social, need a place to hang out. They want a place to hang out, and they want to do that before and after church. And it amazes me the discussions we get into as architects. We will talk about this when we're getting into a design, and inevitably, every single time somebody comes up and says, boy, if people hang out like that, we'd have to change the time between our services. We do 9 and 11 o'clock, and we'd have to have like an extra half hour, and I don't think our church could possibly do that. And here you are looking at major changes, and you couldn't look at changing the schedule of the church a half hour. I think we're going to have a problem here. I really do in terms of where you're headed. So a lot of times put fireplaces in. These third places are the most used part of every single church when they get done. Meetings happen out there. They have funerals out there. They have services out there. There's big screens out there. People sit out there and listen to the service when they're holding their babies or they're doing what they have. The millennials love to hang out in there. There's just a whole lot of things happen in terms of what goes on. This is another one here that gives you that feel of what's going on in those third spaces. So very exciting. Some of them more formal than others. They work just as well. It's just having spaces to go meet in and greet in. A lot of California designs, the weather being so nice, they just said we'll meet outside. They find it didn't work. And a lot of these that we've done have been down in the San Diego area and those kind of spaces, and they've still worked extremely well in terms of what has happened.